Hey readers! Welcome back for another week of learning. Last week we started our book, Polar Bears, another amazing animal. So today, before we get started reading, I want to make sure that you have two things ready for me. That you have your cards with yes and no. I used index cards, but you can always use just a regular piece of paper, whatever you have at home. But we're going to need these today when we think about which questions were answered in our text. So remember, our learning target was all about asking and answering questions. So you guys sent me some awesome questions last week based on the topics or subtitles from polar bears. Today, we're going to read each of those sections and decide, Miss Ennis dropped her markers. You're going to decide if they were answered or not in the text. So we'll use the green marker to put a check if we got the answer to that question. We'll use the red marker to put an X if we didn't get the answer to that question. I want you to practice holding up your cards at home if you think, yes, you heard an answer, or no, Miss Ennis, I didn't hear the answer to that question. We're going to go section by section. That way it's not too much all at one time. Okay? So let's get started. The first section we're going to read is the polar bears are big section. Now the questions I have here say, how big is a polar bear? And how much does a polar bear weigh? Are they as big as a truck? So we've got three questions we're thinking about. How big are they? How much do they weigh? Are they as big as a truck? Let's see if we hear an answer. Polar bears are big. The polar bear is the biggest bear in the world. I already heard an answer to one of our questions. They're even bigger than the Kodiak brown bear. A giant male polar bear can weigh 1,700 pounds. That's about as heavy as a small car. Females usually weigh less than males. One polar bear was said to weigh 2,200 pounds. That's more than a ton of bear. Wow. Okay, so let's stop and see if we heard some answers to our questions. So how big is a polar bear? Well, they gave us how much the polar bear weighs, and also that it's a polar bear is the biggest bear in the world, and it can be as heavy as a small car. I would say we definitely got the answer to how big is a polar bear. They're the biggest bear in the world. How much does a polar bear weigh? We got that answer too. They can weigh 1,700 pounds, but one polar bear weighed up to 2,200 pounds. So we have that answer too. Are they as big as a truck? Well, it told us that they could be as heavy as a small car. So I would say yes, we got the answer to that question, but are they as big as a truck? Maybe not. It sounded like they're closer to being compared to a car. So I'm going to give that one a check too. Okay. Our next section is about how polar bears are tiny. So we just read about how they're big. Now we're going to read about how they're tiny. And our one question is, how small is a baby polar bear? Let's see if we can find out. Polar bears weigh only 1 pound at birth. They will grow to 30 times their birth weight by the time they leave the den. A mother polar bear is not able to eat while she nurses her babies from January to April. By then, the mother polar bear is very hungry. I would say yes. We got the answer to that question. So how small is a baby polar bear? They weigh only 1 pound at birth. 1 pound. That's not very much. Think about you. You probably weigh 40 to 50 pounds. So a polar bear is just 1 pound. I'm going to add a check mark because we got the answer to that question. Our next part of our book is about how polar bears struggle. And our question here from Beckham was, Well, why do they struggle? Let's see if we can find the answer. Polar bears struggle. Baby polar bears will stay with their mother for over 2 years as she teaches them all the skills they will need to make it into adulthood. But being a baby bear is not easy. 3 out of 4 do not survive to see their 3rd birthday. So why do they struggle? Well, it didn't really tell me why they struggle. It just said that being a baby bear is not easy. But I would say no. We didn't really learn yet why they struggle. So I'm actually going to put an X by that question because we didn't learn on that page why polar bears struggle. Our next part of our story is about polar bears are really not white. And the big question that you all had was, well, what color are they then, Miss Ennis? They look pretty white to me. Let's see what we read. Despite what they look like and what most people think, polar bears are black, not white. Yes, we got the answer. What color is a polar bear actually? Black. Under all that warm, thick fur, their skin is totally dark. The fur itself is made up of clear, hollow hairs, sort of like hollow tubes, that contain no color whatsoever. The bears look like they are white only because their clear hair reflects light. Wow, so that's a pretty cool fact. We learned that polar bears are actually black. Now we're going to read about if polar bears are hungry. And your big questions were, what do they eat? And are they aggressive? Well, let's see. Polar bears are hungry. Polar bears like to eat only the blubber and skin of the seal and usually leave the meat, which is in turn scavenged by Arctic foxes. A bear can eat 100 pounds of seal fat at a single sitting. Yes, I heard an answer to our question. What do they like to eat? Seal fat. Let's give ourselves a check. We found that answer. Are they aggressive? Polar bears need to catch about 1 seal a week in order to stay strong and healthy. When the opportunity presents itself, which is rarely, polar bears will even hunt walruses and beluga whales. You know, I don't think we heard an answer to are they aggressive. They're definitely hunters, but I didn't hear anything about them being aggressive. So I'm going to put an X by that question. We didn't hear that one. Our next section is about are they fast? Polar bears are fast. You guys wanted to know how fast are they? And do they run fast? Let's see. Polar bears are fast. No other 4-legged animal can swim as fast as the polar bear. They swim at a rate of 6 miles per hour. Whoop, we got an answer to our question. How fast are polar bears? They can swim 6 miles an hour. Cool. They can do this because of their dinner plate-sized front paws, which are webbed and work like paddles. They are also good divers and can see well underwater. So did we learn if they can run fast? Oh, no, I didn't hear about if polar bears can run fast. So we do know that they can swim 6 miles per hour, but we didn't read anything about if they can run fast. All right, boys and girls, we have one last section to go, and that one was all about there are few polar bears. So let's see. Your questions were, how many polar bears are there? And why are there so few? Let's see if we can find the answers. Altogether, there are only 20,000 to 25,000 polar bears in the world. Yes! How many polar bears are there? 20,000 to 25,000. These are separated into 19 groupings. Most polar bears, about 15,000, live in the Canadian territory. About 4,000 live in northern Alaska. There are no polar bears in the middle or southern part of Alaska. So we definitely heard how many polar bears there are, but we did not hear about why are there so few. But if you keep turning, we learned about that polar bears are endangered. They're endangered because of things like climate change. And when the ice breaks up, they lose their habitat. So that's why there's so few of them. We learned that in the book too. So look at that, friends. Most of your questions we were able to find the answer for. But sometimes when readers read a book, they don't get all the answers to their questions. So today, I want you to talk to your caregiver about what a good reader would do if you read a book and you do not get all the answers to your questions. Then what? Do you just give up? No! You can do some more research on your own. You can ask somebody who knows more than you, like asking an expert. You could find more books on the same topic to see if they have different information. There's lots of things that readers can do to get the answers to their questions. Awesome job today, guys. That was a long one. Thanks for hanging with me.